Okay, I think we're ready to begin here. So, welcome everyone to the Hutchinson Leaders 2020 McLeod County Commissioner Candidate Forum, and I'm editor Stefan Wiblemo. I'll be moderating. We'll start tonight with our two District 4 candidates, incumbent Rich Pohlmeyer and Daryl Luthens. Later on tonight, we'll also welcome our District 1 candidates, Nathan Schmalz and Jose Luciano. To begin the forum, each candidate will have an opportunity to introduce themselves and talk about why they are running for McLeod County Commissioner. Then we'll move on to the Q&A segment of our forum, during which time I'll read the candidates' questions that were submitted to us by Hutchinson Leader readers and McLeod County residents. Finally, we'll finish the forum by allowing each candidate time to give his final word on why voters should choose him this election. So, let's get started. Mr. Luthens, you may begin your opening statement.
Well, thank you. Hi, my name is Daryl Luthens. I'm a lifelong resident of McLeod County. I attended Hutchinson schools, graduated from Hutchinson High School. I started farming here in McLeod County when I was a junior in high school. In Minnesota National Guard in 1964 and proudly served 27 years. Also started working at 3M Hutchinson in 1965. I worked there for 18 years. So growing our dairy farm and raising my family. McLeod County has been my home. It has been very good to my family and me. We have raised 4 sons, a daughter, and 4 grandchildren. I'm proud to be actively involved in our community. I currently serve as a board president of Vacation Homes for 2,000 owners. I'm a past board member of First District Processing in Litchfield, supervisor of Valley Township Board, school board member of Our Savior's Lutheran School, and 3 years of president. Over 45 American Legion member. I feel very fortunate to have lived, worked, and raised my family here in McLeod County, and I'm excited for that. Run our county government and give back to the community that has given me so much to me. In the role of county commissioner, I will bring common sense, leadership, and accountability. I believe we need transparency in how we manage our county and account for our taxpaying money. My business experience and history in this county will make me an efficient and effective county commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Luthens. Now, Mr. Pohlmeyer, you may begin your opening statement.
Hello, I'm Rich Pohlmeyer, seeking re-election to the District 4 Commissioner seat. I've also been a lifelong resident of McLeod County, served on the Biskie City Council, Knights of Columbus, was a past Farm Bureau president in the county. Currently, I'm an assigner for both assigning and officiating for wrestling, softball, and volleyball in the high school sports field. I'm a strong supporter of all youth activities, along with giving FFA reports and 4-H activities. For the county, I've served on numerous committees in the past 4 years. The Personnel Committee, Prime West Insurance and Planning, been on the Planning Commission, United Community Action, Southwest Minnesota Adult Mental Health Consortium, and I've been chair of the Health and Human Service Committee, which we were in the past 2 years able to combine both public health and health and human services together. I currently reside in Brownton with my wife Jackie. We have 6 grown children and 11 grandchildren. I'm a member of the Brownton Lions Club, helping with ditch cleaning and food distribution, and many other activities in the community, especially for the youth. Many of you know me as a softball or wrestling umpire official, along with volleyball, and I've done high school sports for over 40 years. My past, I've been a dairy farmer, retail sales, service, and maintenance, owned my own debt-free business as a carpenter, handyman, contractor for the past 20 years or so. As a sports official, I've learned how to administer rules fairly and respectfully, much like government with our guidelines and mandates that we need to follow. I believe in honesty, respect, and fiscal responsibility. I will continue to build McLeod County to be the best place to live, work, and play in Minnesota. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen, for your opening statements. Now we will begin the Q&A portion of our forum, and I will read the first question to you, Rich. All right. Should you be elected in November, what are the top 2 or 3 priorities you would focus on as a commissioner?
Top 2 priorities for me right now, number 1 will be to keep a stable budget with the state deficit spending and not knowing how our county product aid will be returned from the state. It's going to be very difficult to keep a good balanced budget with what's coming up. Also, right up with that is to keep our roads and highway department viable and operating. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Okay, Mr. Luthens, should you be elected in November, what are the top 2 or 3 priorities you would focus on as a commissioner?
I think our number one I'd be looking at is COVID-19. Working on our students, working on the businesses, trying to help the ones that are in financial trouble right now. If the county could do something for them, having the cities, trying to work with the city and county, doing something there. Loosening up some programs for the high schools or the grade schools. And my second one, again, probably labor negotiations within the county when they have them. And third would be the budgets, but that's on a yearly basis.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to question number 2. Again, this is to you, Darrell. How do you feel about McLeod County providing curbside recycling to cities while at the same time removing township drop-off locations for recycling? Should they have equal service? Please support your answer.
I believe we should have equal services. The problem is we are trying to figure it out where it's cost effective. I understand that drop-offs within the county are going to be difficult, but I would think we could figure out the locations like going to the grocery store. It could be done.
Rich, how do you feel about McLeod County providing curbside recycling to cities while at the same time removing township drop-off locations for recycling? Should they have equal service? And please support your answer.
Okay. Yes, I think we struggle with that. It's very much a budget issue. It's very expensive to have these recycling trucks running across all the county and township roads. Our recycling, we are one of the few counties in the state, and I believe we're the only county in the state that doesn't charge a part of our levy to handle our recycling in the county. So we are looking at 4 or 5 different drop-off points around the county for townships to be dropping their recycling off. And one of our big problems with recycling is the amount of garbage that people tend to continue to think they can put in these drop boxes. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, question number 3, again to you, Rich. Trailblazer Transit provides transportation services to Sibley, McLeod, and Wright counties. Do you believe that Trailblazer Transit is providing a fair value for the taxpayer dollars that support it? Please support your answer.
Trailblazer is a transportation that's basically run by the MnDOT. It is sponsored and 85 to 95% funded through MnDOT. Regulations come through MnDOT. We've been lucky in the past couple years now. We have not had to add any money into the Trailblazer system from our county levies. It does run both Wright, McLeod, and Sibley County. Could some of the service be better in McLeod County? Absolutely. How we're going to get there, we're working on some different ideas with maybe some routes, something like that. But a lot of Trailblazer comes through MnDOT guidelines.
Thank you. Darrell, Trailblazer Transit provides transportation services to Sibley, McLeod, and Wright counties. Do you believe that Trailblazer Transit is providing a fair value for the taxpayer dollars to support it? And please support your answer.
I do believe they do. Majority of the rides are cost effective. They have a regular route for handicapped people and veterans, but when they get down to single people, and it's only one or two people on the bus and traveling long distances, then it's questionable. But it's governed by the state, so kind of like mandated.
Okay, thank you. Question 4, to you again, Daryl. Should the remaining Dakota Rail Regional Trail between Lester Prairie and Hutchinson be developed as a paved or unpaved trail? Please support your answer.
I believe it should not be paved. The money can be used elsewhere, and the maintenance, if it was paved, would be just a huge maintenance upkeep. And the money could be saved and used in the park system elsewhere. Thank you.
Rich, should the remaining Dakota Rail Regional Trail between Lester Prairie and Hutchinson be developed as a paved or unpaved trail? And please support your answer.
We had a trail committee that put a very viable plan together for trail systems in the county. Along with that, was the Dakota Rail was part of that. Personally, the only way I can support the Dakota Rail Trail is through loose or legacy funding, which is applied through for the state, and I don't see any county funding going into the trail system anywhere in the near future.
Thank you. All right, question 5 to you, Rich. In September 2019, President Trump issued an executive order that requires county commissioners to vote to allow for refugee resettlement into county communities. If a Minnesota resettlement agency asked to resettle refugees in McLeod County, would you support that or not, and why?
Along with this refugee situation there's a couple things to be remembered. We have the refugees that are fully vented and that are coming to the America as possible good citizens. We don't want to mix those up with the illegal or any other refugees that we need in our workforce. We don't need the illegals, but any of the other migratory workers. So I think we have to be very careful on what we're looking at. And with that order, it was rather vague, and I would support the vetted refugees to come to this area, but not anyone else. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Daryl, in September 2019, President Trump issued an executive order that requires county commissioners to vote to allow for refugee resettlement in county communities. If a Minnesota resettlement agency asked to resettle refugees in McLeod County, would you support that or not, and why?
I would not support that. We'd have to research it a little bit further, and the knowledge, as I've seen outside other areas, it wasn't very good, and I don't know the total reason for all that. So before I went further with it, I'd do more research.
Okay, thank you. Question 6 for you, Daryl. The county is spending $12 million to renovate the former Young Klaus building in Glencoe into a government center. Is this a good investment? Please support your answer.
Another question I can't really answer without all the facts. What I heard in the beginning was like $7 million that they were gonna go in there with it, and the $12 million, I don't know how it got there. But anything I've done in my past, I analyze the building, if they're gonna build new or not, go buy a piece of ground, build a brand new building. It's cheaper than trying to work with an old building and remodeling it and putting new stuff back into it, especially if we're gonna use the whole building. So I really can't give you a true answer.
Okay, thank you, Daryl. Rich, the county is spending $12 million to renovate the former Young Klaus building in Glencoe into a government center. Do you believe this is a good investment, and please support your answer?
Yes, I believe it is a very excellent investment. I fully support it. The building, we are getting this whole project done on time, under budget. We are looking to be able to have a one-stop shop for county residents. We won't have people traveling across Glencoe into 3 different buildings to get county work done. We'll be able to see many of the efficiencies we've been looking for in trying to combine departments by getting everyone into one building. The other part is I've seen over the past same time frame many other counties that are doing building projects similar to this. Their price tags are anywhere from 25 to way more million than what our 12 million. We are getting a fantastic return on our investment.
Thank you, Mr. Pohlmeyer. Now, our last question to you, Rich. What do you feel is the job description of county commissioners, and whom are they responsible to?
Job description for county commissioners, I found, has been very different from what I thought it was 4 years ago. It is to provide leadership, give our staff the tools they need to do the job that they do to keep our county running. We're navigating through mandates and budgets, and you handle everything in a board meeting from ditch flow to water to social service to public health. So you wear many hats at one time. As far as the responsibility, we are responsible to the taxpayers that vote us into office. There's no other way to say it. They are our bosses. Sometimes we may not exactly, looks like we're not doing exactly what they're asking, but sometimes we're limited by the mandates and the guidelines that we have to operate under as a public official.
Thank you, Rich. And Daryl, what do you feel is the job description of county commissioners, and to whom are they responsible?
Well, we're responsible to our taxpayers, to our people in our county. And we're responsible for the tax dollars coming in, watching the income and expenses, working with the department heads on working on their budgets yearly, coming in with that, working on policies, mostly. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, candidates, for answering the questions. Now we will move on to our, we'll wrap up this last half of our forum, or the first half of our forum, with some closing remarks from each candidate. And Mr. Pohlmeyer, you may begin with your closing statement.
Well, in conclusion, I would like to thank the Hutch leader and the partners in putting this forum together. This is very difficult to be done in this COVID-19 era, and not knowing on social distancing and so forth how we can navigate all this. Also, I'd like to thank the people of McLeod County, especially District 4, for giving me the opportunity to serve as your commissioner the past 4 years. The knowledge I have gained will be used to navigate through the difficult times we have ahead. I hold true to my basic fundamentals: honesty, respect, and fairness to all people. It'll be my honor to serve you the next 4 years, continuing to grow McLeod County to be the best place to work, live, and play. And if you need to contact me, call my cell anytime, 320-583-9738. We can do this by working together. Please vote on November 3rd, or if you're using the mail-in ballots, make sure you have them in the mail by November 3rd. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pohlmeyer. Now, Mr. Luthens, you may begin your closing statement.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to talk with you tonight. I look forward to serving our county in the role of a commissioner. McLeod County needs a commissioner who will listen to all the residents in the county and act in the best interest of the residents. I will put my experience to work for McLeod County will ensure for our county government acts with physical responsibility and transparency to all our residents. It will bring common sense and accountability to our county, leadership so that our residents feel heard, respected, and valued. Our communities are already strong, and as your county commissioner, I will work hard to keep them strong, build plans to keep them thriving into the future. I'll do this by listening, actively working with others, ensuring I am accountable and transparent. I'm looking to hear more about what most important to our residents, and working to ensure McLeod County is strong, viable, and set for the great future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Luthens, and thank you to both candidates for participating tonight in the Leaders Forum. Now, viewers, please stay tuned as we take a short break, and we'll return for the second half of our candidate forum with District 1 candidates Nathan Schmalz and Jose Luciano. Thank you. All right, so we'll just wait until they come back on. Okay, we are back for the second half of our McLeod County Commissioner Candidate Forum. Thank you. Let's see. We'll now start, and we'll now hear from our District 1 candidates, Nathan Schmalz and Jose Luciano. As I said before, we'll begin with opening statements. And Mr. Schmalz, you may begin.
Okay, first off, thanks, Stefan, and thank you for inviting me to the candidate forum tonight. My name is Nathan Schmalz, and I am a candidate for McLeod County Commissioner District 1. If you don't know where District 1 is positioned in the very northeast corner of McLeod County. District 1 is comprised of the townships of Bergen, Hale, and Winstead, and also includes the cities of Lester Prairie, Silver Lake, and Winstead. I'm a lifetime Winstead Township resident and a fourth-generation farmer. I'm a husband of 42 years. I'm a father of 3 and a grandfather of 8. My leadership experience includes serving as Winstead Township Supervisor for the past 6 years. I'm a church leader, and I'm a civic leader. I've spent decades of my life serving my church as a vice president, as a president, an elder, a trustee. I've been a contributing member of the Lester Prairie Long Range Comprehensive Plan that was renewed and reviewed back in 2017. I'm a member of the Lester Prairie Food for Kids Committee. I'm a budgeting member for our fire and rescue in District 1, which includes the fire departments of Lester Prairie, Silver Lake, and Winstead. I'm active at McLeod County Board meetings, as my township requires me to be. And I'm also active at McLeod County Planning and Zoning as well, as my township requires me to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Schmalz. Mr. Luciano, you may begin your opening statement.
Thank you, Stefan. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. I thank all the folks at the leader and all those interested here this evening. I would like to say that it is with great joy and anticipation that I come to this forum this evening to share a little bit of my vision, a little bit of my heart, a little bit about my experiences, to let the folks know a little bit about me and understand what I'm about. I'm a father of 12 children, so I have a loving wife who's top of the list. And so we've been married 30 years, and my children have slowly started to move out, but we still take care of quite a few of them still at home, and are very, very thankful to do that. We've been residents in McLeod County for 21 years. My wife and I lived in Minneapolis, and we just had to move out. A little bit too much too much control, I could say, over our family and what we wanted to do with our children. And so we moved out to McLeod County, and we've been extremely grateful, thankful people for finding a county like this. You can pick the house that you want, but you can't pick your neighbors. And we've been blessed with some extraordinary neighbors that I think it runs through the county, that folks care about each other, and has given me the desire to come back and serve now in this capacity.
Thank you, gentlemen, for your statements. And now we will begin with our question and answer portion of the forum. So I'll read the first question to you, Jose. Should you be elected in November, what are the top 2 or 3 priorities you would focus on as a commissioner?
Well, being the situation that we're in, this is rather easy. It's like in real estate, they say the priority, the thing you're looking for is location, location, location. The present situation in our county, and probably statewide, is COVID, COVID, COVID. Our county's been running before this and will run after this, but we are in the midst of something extraordinarily different and complex. And we need to step up behind and alongside our businesses and help them in this time of crisis.
Thank you. And now, Nathan, should you be elected in November, what are the top 2 or 3 priorities you would focus on as a commissioner?
The first thing I think we need to be completing as we start the new year is moving into the new city center. I believe we're scheduled to move into it around February. So that will be top priority. That'll be a great step forward for McLeod County and its citizens. One of the personal things that I put forth myself being a commissioner will be to improve on the communication that we have between our townships, our cities, and our county government. I was a bit amazed at the lack of communication, the lack of participation that we are experiencing. So it's going to be easy for me to really improve upon that and to have our county be part of the discussion when it comes to township and city governments in District 1.
Thank you. Question 2 now to you, Nathan. How do you feel about McLeod County providing curbside recycling to cities while at the same time removing township drop-off locations for recycling? Should they have equal service? And please support your answer.
I don't believe that we need equal service at the township level. I know that the residents in our cities do like their recycling opportunities. The common complaint that I believe I hear is every other week pickups isn't enough. I mean, people are recycling. The problem we ran into in District 1 was our drop-off sites that were located in Lester Prairie and in Silver Lake were removed a year and a half ago without notice. And there was no real plan to ever bring them back. So about 9 months went by, we still had nothing on the horizon as far as restoring recycling opportunities for our District 1 residents. So I wrote a resolution and forwarded it to the board back in January with the support of all 3 of our townships that we restore recycling opportunities. It was a modest request, and thanks to the county, we now do have a drop-off location in our district.
Thank you. To you, Jose, how do you feel about McLeod County providing curbside recycling to cities while at the same time removing township drop-off locations for recycling? Should they have equal service? Please support your answer.
Great question. Recycling is important, and a lot of people feel strongly about it. To remove it from the townships is wrong. We need to provide that. We need to find a way to get that done. I applaud Nathan and his resolution. I think that's exactly what needs to happen, and folks need to acknowledge that it isn't just in the cities. The cities have their opportunities, but maybe some folks don't know this. Some townships are bigger than cities. That's the actual situation in Hale Township. It's a bigger population in Hale Township than Silver Lake City. So how can you pull it away from the township and not and just allow it in the city? So there needs to be equity.
Thank you. Question 3 now to you, Jose. Trailblazer Transit provides transportation services to Sibley, McLeod, and Wright counties. Do you believe that Trailblazer Transit is providing a fair value for the taxpayer dollars that support it? Please support your answer.
That's a great answer, or great question, Stefan. And a difficult one, because you have to understand that most public transportation venues and opportunities are not viable. They don't pay for themselves. So you sit back and you say, oh, let's scrap this. Well, you can't do that. You have to think of the disenfranchised. You think of the veterans. You think of the handicapped. And there are folks that need help. And we should help provide that. And then one thing to keep in mind is MnDOT actually supports a big portion of this. And for that reason, it makes the pain for us here in McLeod very little.
Thank you. Now, Nathan, Trailblazer Transit provides transportation services to Sibley, McLeod, and Wright counties. Do you believe that Trailblazer Transit is providing a fair value for the taxpayer dollars that support it? And please support your answer.
Yes, I do support Trailblazer, and I do think that it benefits our county greatly, especially considering the tax dollars that our county is liable for to keep that system up and running. As Jose said, we are supplemented with MnDOT funds. I don't know the exact formula that's used as far as paying for expenses due to Trailblazer, but it's a great benefit for people living in the rural areas. I know a lady just up my road who uses it at least twice a week to get dialysis done. Without that, it would be a hardship to make that trip. So for $3.50, it's a fantastic deal, I think, for the citizens in our county and District 1.
Thank you. Question number 4 now to you, Nathan, again. Should the remaining Dakota Rail Regional Trail between Lester Prairie and Hutchinson be developed as a paved or unpaved trail? And please support your answer.
Dakota Rail should definitely be developed as a trail. I mean, if you look at what we have right now, it's not very attractive, and it could be. Now, I'm not saying that we need to pave it. I'm saying that we need to develop it. We need to clean it up. We need to get a use started for it. I think we need to maintain it as a corridor. My vision sometimes goes a little too far out, but who knows what it could be in 50 years from today, or even 100 years from today. So we definitely need to improve it. I think it can be developed. I would not be in favor of paving it until we get all parties at the table and decide how to split the cost of putting it in and also maintaining it. I want those parties identified before we make the investment in paving.
Thank you. Jose, should the remaining Dakota Rail Regional Trail between Lester Prairie and Hutchinson be developed as a paved or unpaved trail? And please support your answer.
The Dakota Rail Trail can be a tremendous asset for our communities. I believe, and I can speak firsthand, because our family, our large family, runs, walks, bikes, skates, and longboards on that trail. We use that thing, and we know a lot of families that do too. Now, I'm also a conservative, so if we're going to do anything on that trail, we better have a plan. We can't strap this on the shoulders of people and say, hey, I understand legacy funds are available, and that's what I would tap first and foremost. That money's there for those type of projects. But maintenance is critical, so there must be a plan in motion to keep that going year after year.
Thank you. Question 5 to you again, Jose. In September 2019, President Trump issued an executive order that requires county commissioners to vote to allow refugee resettlement in county communities. If a Minnesota resettlement agency asked to resettle refugees in McLeod County, would you support that or not, and why?
I think, Stefan, very clearly here in the question, I rest in the word, in the phrase that says, leave it left to the counties. I believe the counties can make that decision and make the right decision. They know whether they can handle this, if they can handle the influx. You're talking to someone, pardon me, you're asking this question to someone that is it's a unique question to me, because I came to this country as a refugee, as an immigrant, with my parents to leave a communist dictatorship. And so my parents came to work. Many of the folks that I know in McLeod County, their grandparents came to work. And so we should let Americans do that.
Thank you. Now to you, Nathan. In September 2019, President Trump issued an executive order that requires county commissioners to vote to allow for refugee resettlement into county communities. If a Minnesota resettlement agency asked to resettle refugees in McLeod County, would you support that or not, and why?
First off, I'd like to say I would first want to look at the cost and what the cost would be to the citizens of McLeod County for a refugee resettlement. And then secondly, I'd like to say over 160 years ago, we could say that my great-grandfather was a refugee, but I think the proper terminology would be that he was an immigrant. I don't exactly know what the differences would be between the two, but so should we allow people to come into our country? Yes. Just as Jose did, it was allowed in his family, as my family was 160 years ago.
Thank you. Question number 6 to you again, Nathan. The county is spending $12 million to renovate the former Young Klaus building in Glencoe into a government center. Is this a good investment? And please support your answer.
I absolutely believe that it's a good investment. No, I'm not happy that it's going to cost $12 million, but the information I have says that they are below budget, which is good news for our taxpayers in our county. It's all about timing. The building was there. The timing worked to secure the building. So I support the decision to pursue that. I support the decision that the commissioners made to invest in that. I believe it's a good step forward, and I think it'll pay off in the long run. The bonds have been sold. Luckily, interest is low at this point in time. So I support their decision and what they've done to promote the Young Klaus building as the new government center.
Thank you. Now to you, Jose. The county is spending $12 million to renovate the former Young Klaus building in Glencoe into a government center. Is this a good investment? And please support your answer.
The simple answer, yes, absolutely. You take 3 buildings that are being used currently, and there are departments working in between them. The drives, the time, the confusion at times. That hopefully will all be taken care of. If we can sell those other properties or somehow rent them, now you've got a win-win. Everybody under one roof. $12 million sounds like a lot right now up front, but if you look at it over 10, 15, 20 years and having one facility, it's actually a great investment.
Thank you. And now our 7th question to you, Jose. What do you feel is the job description of county commissioners, and to whom are they responsible?
Great question, Stephen. I've been asked that as I've been door knocking around our district. And so what do you do anyway? What would a commissioner do? This is great. The best that I've been able to clear up and as I think it through and talk to some of my friends who are commissioners, there is a buffer between the taxpayer and the state. And the commissioners come in there and they help and listen to the taxpayers when there are issues that they might be butting heads with staff here in the county. And the commissioners can be that buffer that causes a little bit more cohesion within the county. And that's what I hope to do.
Okay, thank you. Nathan, what do you feel is the job description of county commissioners, and to whom are they responsible?
As a county commissioner, I'm responsible to the people who will vote me into that office. So I answer first to my District 1 citizens. There's no question about that. They are the people I would represent. Secondly, I represent McLeod County if I become commissioner. McLeod County has an annual budget that's approaching, I believe, around $25 million now. So it's a commissioner's responsibility to assess how those dollars are spent in our county. And we need to be attentive to the constituents we represent. We need to be attentive to also our fellow neighbors in other districts and in other towns and cities in our county, and base our decisions on what their needs are.
Thank you, Nathan. And thank you, both of you, for responding to our questions. Now it's time to finish tonight's forum with some closing remarks from each of you. And Mr. Luciano, you may give your closing remarks first.
Thank you, Stefan. It's my pleasure and my joy this evening to close this out with just a few comments. I have done considerable door knocking through our district and can't tell you what a blessing it's been to meet neighbors that I have never met before. And this has caused me to meet folks, good people, great, hard-working people that all have issues. I've heard both ends of one argument on different nights. And I'm a better man today. If Nathan, if they choose to vote Nathan in, I'm a better man, and I'm grateful for this opportunity to have met more people and to have heard the people of this county. If they decide to vote for me, I think I can serve because of this door knocking and hearing the heartbeat of the folks of this county and specifically my district. I have an understanding now of things that are really important. This COVID-19 is a real issue. There are people that are hurting, can't work, can't make the money they were making before, are struggling with different issues. Their children, the school system is off, and it's not functioning well for them in order for them to make the money they need to. So there are issues going on. I would like to say thank you again to all those people that have donated, all the people that have put up signs for me. I thank you very much for that, and I've been touched by your kindness toward me, and I look forward to serving you in the future.
Thank you, Mr. Luciano. Finally, Mr. Schmalz, you may begin your closing statement.
Again, thanks for hearing us out this evening. As a Winston Township Supervisor for the past 6 years, I've gained valuable experience that I'll be taking with me if I'm elected to be our next County Commissioner in District 1. I had the pleasure of working with some very experienced and qualified people on the township level. It's given me the opportunity to interact also at the county level with departments. I've interacted with the Soil and Water District, both on a personal level with my farm and also on a professional level as a township supervisor. I have a good working relationship with our Public Works Department, our Road and Bridge Department. I've been active at the McLeod County Federal Emergency Management meetings that we went through 2 springs ago after a very harsh winter, and more recently the meetings that we've had discussion on as far as distribution of the CARES Act funding. And like was said before, I've worked to restore recycling to our underserved residents in Bergen, Hale, and Winston Townships. I've already actively served to improve the lives of our citizens in District 1. As a McLeod County District 1 Commissioner, I will apply my experience in township government to the county level. People ask, why do you run? Well, for me, it's kind of simple. I have 8 reasons why I run. It's my 8 grandchildren. I believe in their future in our county. I believe in McLeod County. I believe in our townships and cities. This is the best place to live, work, and raise our families. My goal is to be one of the best commissioners to serve District 1 and the County of McLeod. I thank you, I thank my supporters, and I thank you for your support come our general election. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen, and thanks again to all of our candidates for participating in tonight's Hutchinson Leader Candidate Forum. Before we go, we want to remind our viewers that on Wednesday, October 7th, we'll be hosting another forum with candidates for Hutchinson City Council and Mayor. If any Hutchinson residents have questions that they'd like to hear us ask these candidates, please get a hold of the Hutchinson Leader, or you may email them to news@hutchinsonleader.com. Until then, good night and thank you for watching.